I'm Crystal D, and you're watching Doctor Who The Fan Show. Joined with us today is Jodie Whittaker.
And as you can see, we've shrunk her down and put her in a plastic box because that's what happens when you finish your role as a doctor, and put you on the shelf for all eternity.
Roll Sonic.
Meow.
Okay.
Hello, YouTubers and I don't even know where to look. I don't know where to look at the
Right,
main one.
you're looking in that camera, I'm looking at that camera, and then, change between looking at each other.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just so used to just staring at one camera at a time, so it's going to be a bit weird. So anyway, today we're going to be discussing and predicting and inquiring and hoping and, I don't know, all the words under the sun for Series 13. What we want to see from it and what we know already. So, don't know how to start this one. I'll let you take it over.
Right, so I suggested that we go for a sort of top 5 things each that we'd like to see in Series 13, based on what we know, of course, because a lot has happened in the last sort of few weeks, months.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether to discuss the Chibnall and Jodie leaving thing here or save it for a podcast or something like that, but it kind of just changed things a lot because we did get some news at the San Diego Comic Con thing about the structure of the series, and obviously with them leaving, you think that they're going to go all guns blazing and stuff and just really leave an indelible mark, although Chibnall already has done that with the Times Children thing.
Yes, well, I did sort of assume that he would be sticking around for a few more years,
Yeah.
I thought maybe Series 13 would just be another stage in his era. I mean, it is another stage in his era, but I thought it would be another stage in a much longer era, to be honest. So I guess sort of the pressures and expectations of Series 13 are a bit higher now that it's his last full series.
Yeah, I think he's got something to prove, and he's got to play his cards now more than ever. I mean, he kind of stepped it up a little bit in Series 12 in terms of trying to shake the show up a little bit, but I don't know. Personally, I wasn't a fan of Series 12 that much.
Alright, top 5 things for me. So I'll start with the first thing that comes off the top of my mind. More historical settings, because you're shaking your head. Because I feel this era's strength is its historical episodes, really. I love Demons of the Punjab. I do wish it was slightly longer than it was, but I do sort of love it for what it is, and it's so colourful.
It is. It is.
In a series that sort of maybe had less colour than usual. And also Haunting of Villa Diodati, loved that one.
Yep.
It's probably my favourite of this era. Not just because of the Cyberman, because it's got like well fleshed out characters in the background.
It's got proper atmosphere as well, which I like atmosphere, as you can probably tell with the setup. I'm all about the ambience.
My skin is blue right now.
Yes.
Anyway, we know from filming pictures that there's Sontarans in. I think the Sontarans in the Crimean War. So at the very least, we're going to get an episode set at least partially in the Crimean War. So do definitely know there are going to be historicals, and we know that Maxine Alderton is going to be a writer of the series. So I'm sort of predicting maybe she's writing that one, because it's another historical with the classic Haunting of Villa Diodati.
Oh right, yeah, okay.
Because it's another historical with a classic Who monster that's revamped for this era.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a strength if she did such a good job with the Shard. I get what you're saying about historicals. They are very strong in the Chibnall era. I think probably my favourites have been. I mean, I wasn't overly keen on the Witchfinders, but I did enjoy the character of King James quite a lot.
I mean, that must be Alan Cumming, though.
Yeah, probably. Just as oozes.
He eats up every role he has, really.
Yeah. So I guess that's. But yeah, for me, I don't know. I kind of, whenever Chibnall does any kind of outer space stuff, like it's base under siege kind of stuff, and I find that formula very boring, and I would like to do more stuff like the Rings of Akaten and more not necessarily Star Wars inspired stuff, but just a little bit more world building on other worlds, because that's just this is one of my points, how I just want to see more world building for other. Obviously they've done the Division thing, which is kind of cool. Regardless of whether I'm a fan of the Time as Children arc or not, I do think it's untapped potential there, and it would be quite interesting to see what happens with it. But yeah, I just want to see more alien civilizations and just some nice alien characters and settings and worlds and stuff.
Yeah,
and I remember
I agree.
series 11, the marketing thing was new worlds and all that kind of stuff, but like with the Ghost Monument, there wasn't anything there. There was just floating cloths
And robots.
and robots. Like, yay, that's inspired, isn't it? Great.
Number 4 of things I'd like to see in Series 13. I hope the finale does not contain some sort of classic Who villain. You know, I don't want the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Master, or Rassilon.
No,
to
please no.
Because those are the 4 villains that have appeared the most in the finales.
I mean, at the time of broadcast, I didn't like the Battle of Ransk or Kalos, however you say it, but rewatching it, I kind of appreciated it for actually doing something different and not doing the whole, oh my god, it's whoever's back, and it's like, yeah, that shock value kind of dissolves after however many years New Who has been on TV, so it's nice to do something different, but it was still kind of a bit of a snooze fest, in my opinion. But
I mean, it works well, sort of, that particular finale sort of worked well in the context of its own series in terms of the story of Ryan and Graham. Although I think it should have gone before It Takes You Away.
Yeah.
But, you know, as a sort of original villain, you know, it worked, sort of, I think. They tried. Yeah. We do know that the Daleks are coming back.
Well,
what series would they not come back, really?
We saw a prop being wheeled off of a truck, but was that for Casualty, or was it actually for Doctor Who though? I've not been following the stuff. What do you call it? All the progress of a series. I've not really followed it to a T like a lot of other people have. But
I didn't think of that before. That it could have been for Casualty.
Yeah, I thought that was what it was for.
I'm pretty sure it was in Wales though.
Oh, was it?
Anyway, point is, we know that the Daleks are coming back this series, which isn't a big shocker because they come back basically every series. No matter like where they're placed, like at the very end of a special, you know, at the very end of a series in a special, or in a cameo, like in the pilot, they come back. I hope that they're in the sort of tentpole episode in the middle of the series, not sort of.
Yeah, I do think the
finale.
Daleks work very well in mid-series. Well, I mean, I know Into the Dalek was episode 2, but it was kind of nice just to have a Dalek story, not really connected to anything else. Because my main criticism of Revolution, or whatever it's called, is the fact that it was just trying to do too much, and I would have just preferred to have just had a straightforward, focused Dalek story. And I hope we get, well, that's one of my points, I hope we just get a straightforward Dalek story, which is very, I don't know, they can just invade a world and just have an adventure. Not Earth, please not Earth. Because for God's sake, creative team, come on.
The 69th Dalek invasion of Earth.
Yeah. Wow, this is weird. I'm in another video. Help, I'm scared. So, why am I here? Well, camera B died. The camera that focused on me for the multicam setup stopped recording for whatever reason, which just means it's just going to be a wide throughout the rest of this entire video. So now that we lost the multicam setup halfway through, it's not as visually engaging as it was before, which means I've had to move 10 minutes of this video over to the second channel, because that way it's more of a chilled, laid-back approach. So if you want to see us talking about Thasmin, talking about Dan a bit more extensively, and just some other cool things, then go head over to the Oscar Demon channel and you'll find the extra content there. But like I said, the rest of this video is just going to be that single two-shot of us both and no multicam setup. Back to it.
And that leads me on to the third thing I like to see in Series 13. More inward, character-driven stories. So we talked about this before, I think, about both Resolution and Revolution, the Daleks, how they both have, specifically with Ryan, I think, that we notice the pattern of sort of, there are certain scenes where you've got like sort of, it's quite nicely written, sort of slow, sort of serious drama scenes. Like for example, Ryan in Resolution talking to his dad, like, you know, why'd you leave me? And then in Revolution of the Daleks, the Doctor and Ryan, they're sort of catching up, the first time in like 9 months. And but in
5 minutes.
In both cases, they're surrounded by a bunch of plot-driven stuff, and it doesn't really fit with the rest of the story. So what I'm hoping for is sort of those styles of scenes, but written for like across the entire sort of episode. Like I know that they do, you know, they rush through episodes. They do a lot in episodes because of the runtime and stuff, but I think they should write for the runtime. They should whittle the material they've got for the runtime and then run with that.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much like it was interesting to note that, I can't remember who I was watching, but they were saying they wish it had just go back to the 45-minute because it just felt tighter and it felt more contained to the stories that they tell nowadays. Because in the Chibnall era it does kind of feel like they had 10 minutes of not very much. Yeah, and then when in Revolution, when they got given a 17-minute special, they had too much and didn't focus on one element, and that's a massive bugbear of mine with this current era, how they just don't actually realise the ideas to the actual potential they have.
Heaven Sent, you've got one cast member, technically 2, technically 3, only 2 speaking roles, but that's technically in the Doctor's head. You got one location, one actor really speaking throughout the whole thing, explores his environment, you go through what he's thinking in his head. There's danger, there's danger, and like there's running around, but there's also moments of contemplation and stakes are risen, and then you've still got like a climactic finale at the end of the episode. I'm not saying write Heaven Sent like every week, because that's a bit of a high bar to reach, but I'm saying write stories sort of with limited assets. Moving
on to my next point is I wish that they would just drop a companion for an episode, because throughout series 11 and 12 it was always the 3, and I think something like Can You Hear Me would have worked spectacularly if it just focused on Yaz. I don't understand why it focused so much on Ryan's friend, because we didn't know this guy. He showed up in Spyfall for like 2 minutes, and all of a sudden he gets so much screen time and Can You Hear Me? And it's like, this should be Yaz's episode, because they're teasing it throughout the entire thing, but for some reason they just don't focus on it that much.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
I would like just Yaz is a lost cause at this point. I've given up caring about Yaz's character now, because they had so much time to do things with her.
That was another one of my points I wanted to make about use Yaz well. Come on, Chibnall.
Just kill her off in the second episode and then focus on Dan for the rest of the series. Well, Dan and 13, because give her a character while you're at it as well, that'd help.
Like, do something with Yaz being a police officer. Actually,
I forgot that she was a police officer throughout series 12. Like, oh wait, hang on.
Like, actually write some sort of chemistry between her and the Doctor, so that then you can actually make Phasmin canon.
I mean, I don't like Hank Mackey in the TARDIS anyway. I didn't like the Tenrose thing. I didn't like Amy Snook in the 11th Doctor. I don't like any of it because I'm just like that. I don't know why I like the Paul McGann. I don't know why I like the Paul McGann thing, but that's just because he was kind of really excited and stuff. I didn't mean in that way.
But he was.
But I don't know. I kind of buy the whole Doctor and River thing a little bit more because she is part-time Lord or whatever.
Because she's an enigma.
And the Doctor's fascinated by her, so I kind of appreciated that, and I love Series 6 anyway. So, but yeah, I don't like the whole Doctor and human thing. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me.
Okay, and the final thing I would like to see in Series 13 is Chibnall doubles down on the Timeless Child storyline.
He goes full on?
Yes.
Yes.
He doesn't back down just because there's been backlash. I want him to just go, he's done it now. Let's just tell the story.
Don't don't do a Victory of the Daleks where you introduce something, well, in my opinion, awesome, and then then you go, oh, we screwed up. Let's not explore it at all. We were wrong.
I think a more recent example would be the newest Star Wars trilogy. How they kind of
God, fucking hell, yeah.
flipped between what they wanted to do, and then in the end they just...
Let's bring the Emperor back. Why? Why did you do that? Why could we not just focus on these new characters?
In the end, it sort of it gave in to the fan backlash, didn't it? And that's what I don't want Chibnall to do. I want him to tell the story he originally wanted to tell.
So my number 4 point would be don't do a Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Yeah. It's going. I don't care anymore. I stopped caring about Doctor Who.
This happens at the end of like every time we talk about Chibnall, every time we do.
It's very tiring to talk about Chibnall Who because you're basically just shouting into an agora, and our words are meaningless at this point. Yeah, with that in mind, thank you for watching this episode. Let us know down below whether you think Chibnall's going to pull it out of the bag or not.
Is he going to pull it out of a tote bag?
He'd probably just pick a dead bunny out of a rabbit's hat, to be honest, at this point.
We're not... We don't, unlike some outrageous people, wish death on Chris Chibnall. That's way too much.
No, that's way too much of a nice fate for Chibnall. Bye.
See you later.